Welcome to the GCE Connect. In this session on velocity and mechanism, let us go through the instantaneous center method. Hello everybody, I am Ratan Patil from Mechanical Engineering Department, GCE Belgaum. So let us go through the instantaneous center method. So on the screen we are having a single stator crank mechanism wherein we are having a fixed frame, that is link 1, then there is link 2 crank, link 3 connecting rod, and link 4 piston and cylinder arrangement. So if we give motion to the crank, and this motion is rotation, so whatever is this rotation motion is there, this makes the connecting rod which is being connected to the piston, and the piston is going to translate, or it is going to reciprocate into a cylinder. So what these two motions, that is rotation and translation, will have a combined effect. So usually whatever these two motions are there, these two motions takes place gradually, or they takes place simultaneously, as we can see from this particular mechanism. So sometimes a body may have simultaneously motion of rotation as well as translation, such as an example for a wheel of a car or a wheel of a motorcycle. Then such a motion will always have a combined effect of rotation and translation. Now what happens is that in actual practice the motion of link is so gradual that it is difficult to see two separate motions, and this combined effect of rotation and translation of any link may be assumed to be motion of pure rotation, which is known about its some center I, called as instantaneous center of rotation, or it is also called as virtual center. Now let us see this in detail. So let's suppose we have got one particular link. That link is AB, which is being shown in figure 1 here. Now link AB, as we can see from figure A, will have two motions. One is translation and rotation in order to achieve its final position, that is A1, B1. Now whatever this link AB is there, this link moves or have a translation motion, and it comes to its position A1 B dash, and afterwards whatever this link is there, this rotates about point A1 in order to have its final position A1 B1. So in figure A you are going to have first translation motion and then it is rotation. Let us go to figure B. Again we are having link AB only, and this link AB is going to achieve final position A1 B1. But in doing so, first the link is rotating about point A in order to achieve position A B dash, and the final position is being achieved further by translation, which is A1 B1. So as we can see from both figures, in first case figure A, it is first translation and then rotation, and next figure it is first rotation and then translation. So in actual practice the motion of the link AB is gradual, that it is difficult to see the two separate motions, but we see the two separate motions through point B, as the point B moves faster than point A. Thus this combined motion of rotation and translation of link AB is assumed to be a motion of pure rotation about some center I, which is known as the instantaneous center, or also being called as virtual center. Okay, now let us see the concept of instantaneous center of rotation. So we are having link AB here, and whatever this link AB is there, this link AB, after having a particular motion given to it, it achieves a new position, and that new position is A1 B1. So let us join the points A1 and B1. So upon joining the points A1, let us bisect the line, dotted line A1 and also B1. So upon bisecting, we get a midpoint on line A1, which is M, and on line B1 the midpoint is N. So let us draw a perpendicular projections from point M and point N. Upon drawing the perpendicular projections from point M and point N, both the projections are going to meet at some common point, and that common point is called as I. We can see here this is the common point, which is I. For A1 we are having midpoint as M, and for B, B1 the midpoint is N. So whatever that I is there, that I or that common point I is being called as instantaneous center of rotation. Now usually what happens is that when we see the position of the link AB goes on changing, then the center about which the motion is assumed to take place also goes on changing. Thus, the instantaneous center of a moving body may be defined as that center which goes on changing from one instant to another. The locus of all such instantaneous center is known as centroid. A line drawn through an instantaneous center and perpendicular to the plane of motion is called as instantaneous axis, and the locus of this axis is being called as axoid. So if any link is there, for that link, if we are required to have the particular rotation, then it has to rotate only with particular center, and that center is being called as instantaneous center of rotation, which is being clearly visible from figure 2 there. Okay, let us see the next concept with respect to methods of determining the velocity of a point on a link. Now we are having various methods in order to determine the velocity of a point on a link. But apart from the various methods, from the subject point of view, we can study in detail two methods. One is the instantaneous center method and other one is the relative velocity method. Now whatever this instantaneous center method is there, this instantaneous center method can be used for simple mechanism, and it becomes more complex when the mechanism is high-end configuration. Whereas the relative velocity method can be used to any mechanism, either simple or the configurations which are at the high end. Now, in order to determine the velocity of the link or at any point on the link, let us see how it goes. Now, let's suppose for that I have got a link AB. On link AB, I have got a particular point. Let's suppose that point is P. Now, if I want to find the velocity of that point P, then the velocity is being determined as V is equals to product of R into omega. Now, R indicates the radius and omega indicates the angular velocity. Now, what does this R indicates? Now, R is that particular point from the instantaneous center. Now, let's suppose if I have taken point P here, then R is equal to distance between instantaneous center and that point. So that I should write it as IP, means the distance from the instantaneous center up till point P. So if I want to write the velocity of link having point P, then the velocity V will be equal to IP into R. Velocity will be equal to IP into omega. R is IP. IP is distance from the instantaneous center up till point P. So similarly, if you are required to find any velocity at any point, so let's suppose point R, point Q, then velocity will be equal to IR into omega or IQ into omega. Hope this has been clear to you. Okay. Now next concept is we are required to determine the number of instantaneous center in a mechanism. Then in order to determine the number of instantaneous center in a mechanism, we are required to have a mathematical equation, and that mathematical equation is capital N equal to small n, n minus 1 divided by 2, where capital N is the number of instantaneous center and small n is the number of links. But the number of instantaneous center in a constraint chain depends upon the number of possible combinations of two links, and the number of instantaneous center in a mechanism which have a n links will be equal to the possible pairs of two links taken at a time. Now whatever this instantaneous centers in a mechanism is there, this instantaneous center in a mechanism have some properties about the instantaneous center, and these properties are, whatever the instantaneous center is there, this instantaneous center is a zero velocity point, means the velocity is null there. The instantaneous center may lie either inside the mechanism or outside the mechanism, that is either inside the body or outside the body. Each configuration of the link has only one instantaneous center and it changes with alteration of the mechanism. Means if I am having link 1 and link 2, then the instantaneous center only will be written as I12, and whatever this instantaneous center is there, it changes with respect to the alterations of the mechanism. It means that if I am having any changes in the dimensions of the links of the mechanism, then the instantaneous center will change, and with respect to the motion of the mechanism also. Next is the instantaneous center is a center about which the link has pure rotational motion. Thus, when the body have straight line motion, for example, such as piston, or if I am having a slider on the horizontal surface, then its radius of curvature is at infinity, and hence the instantaneous center lies at the infinity. So if I am taking the slider as an example, and if we take any particular point to from that particular point, if the velocity is being directed, then with respect to that velocity, if we are required to have projections, this projection will be always perpendicular, and this is going to head towards infinity. Next, the instantaneous center is a point about which one body rotates relative to the other for a given position, and hence it is a double point and denoted by something like if I am going to write I12 means it is the instantaneous center of link 1 and link 2, and it should be read as I12 only, it cannot be read as I12. And the next important property of instantaneous center is, by instantaneous center method, it is possible to find the velocity at any point of a body if the direction of velocity of 2 points and magnitude of velocity of any one point is being known there. Okay, let us go through the types of instantaneous center. Now we are having 3 types of instantaneous center. One is fixed instantaneous center, permanent instantaneous center, and third one is neither fixed nor permanent instantaneous center. So let us see what these instantaneous centers are. So we are having a 4-bar mechanism here, having link 1, link 2, link 3 and link 4. Now link 1 is fixed, link 2 is the crank which is going to rotate, link 3 is the connector, and link 4 is the output. This is a fixed link, this is the crank here, this is the connector, and from the link 4 you are going to have an output. So since link 1 is being fixed, whatever the instantaneous centers which are going to lie on this link, these instantaneous centers are being called as fixed instantaneous center. So the instantaneous center between link 1 and link 2 which is being joined here, that instantaneous center is I12, and I12 is fixed instantaneous center. Instantaneous center between link 1 and link 4 which is I14, this also is fixed instantaneous center. Next, we are having instantaneous centers between link 2 and link 3, and link 3 and link 4. Instantaneous center between link 2 and link 3 is I23, and instantaneous center between link 3 and link 4 is I34. So instantaneous center I23 and I34 are permanent instantaneous center, means they change when the links are going to change, but they are not fixed. So instantaneous centers I23 and I34 are permanent. The meaning of permanent means that when the position of the link 2 are being changed, or the position of the link 2 or link 3 are being changed, then instantaneous centers I23 and I34 changes. That is the position of the instantaneous centers I23 and I34 changes. Means these instantaneous centers are fixed on that particular point, but these instantaneous centers are permanent on that particular point, but they are not being fixed. So the fixed instantaneous centers are I14, I12, and permanent instantaneous centers are I23 and I34. Now the remaining 2 instantaneous centers, that is I24 and I13, are neither fixed or neither permanent, and they keep on changing depending upon the mechanism is being given a particular motion. Now we are having 6 instantaneous centers here: I12, I23, I34, I14, I24 and I13. So it has been found out, as we have seen in the previous slide there, that is number of instantaneous center. Since we are having 4 links here, the number of instantaneous centers are being found at capital N equal to small n minus 1 divided by 2, which is equal to 6. So it is also been written there, the instantaneous centers I12 and I14 are called as fixed instantaneous centers, I23 and I34 are permanent instantaneous center as they move when the mechanism moves, but the joints are permanent in nature. The instantaneous centers I13 and I24 are neither fixed nor permanent instantaneous, as they vary with the motion of the mechanism. So these are the various types of instantaneous centers. Hope you have understood the things. Thank you.